My name is Pedro Surroca, and I am a working painter living in Santa Fe, New Mexico. I have just finished a piece, an oil painting called Obfuscation, and it's hanging at Llewellyn Galleries here in Santa Fe at the rail yard.
So Pedro, thank you so much for sitting down with us today.
No, my pleasure. Thank you for doing this. This is great.
So you told me that you have been fascinated with art since your childhood in Colombia. What is your earliest recollection of an artistic experience moving you and changing you?
Well, I suppose when I was in grammar school, I used to love to paint. My parents, put me in extracurriculum art classes. And I guess the funniest thing about, or not funny, but my first reality with art was that I was given some oil paints, and nobody told me that you had to dissolve it with turpentine, and I dissolved them with water.
Oh.
So it was a mess.
And it washed away?
No, it clumped everywhere. And then I tried to take it off with my fingers. Then I got it on the curtains in my house, in my bedroom.
Wow.
And it was a mess.
So the art
But it
career
was
could have
fun.
been done then and there if you had given up. But you didn't.
Oh, no, it was exciting.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Exciting to have a mess on your hands.
Yes, actually.
Huh. Interesting. Why?
Because I had to fix it. And a lot about art is figuring it out. As, you set your parameters, and then within those parameters, you kind of discover what you want to do.
How did you come about the idea and design these branches in that particular format?
Well, I started painting plants as dried leaves. And what I liked very much about that is how they contorted themselves, and how light hits them, creating very interesting valleys and very interesting detail that comes out in a leaf when it dries, like, the little veins come out. And again, that's a Flemish thing, tiny, tiny details, and giving essence to those tiny details, which makes it very beautiful. Like, there's nothing more beautiful than reality itself. Then I moved on to painting branches, and I started making these, trying to walk a line between abstraction and reality, in which I did, painted these branches, did these compositions. And then that started moving into me taking plants and manipulating them. So even though they were natural, they were unnatural at the same time. Because I try, as they were growing, I would contort them in my own way, the way they felt, using the energy on how they grow. I would, if it was going to grow this way, well, I exaggerated the bend this way. And then said, oh, how cool if I whip it around here and do this and do that. So it's a kind of a collaboration between forcing something and nature at the same time.
Grow it, twist it, cut it.
Paint it.
Paint it, pretty much. And then once it's painted, you do all the framing yourself, correct?
Oh, yeah. I do everything. I love doing that. I mean, there's something very, and I think it's a personal thing, so I don't think everybody's that way, but I love to, and it's an interior thing. I love to see something and saying, I did the whole thing. I didn't depend on anybody to do it. I did it.
So you went to art school and traveled the world and saw all sorts of different styles of art. And at what point do you feel like you landed on your style of Flemish painting?
It's a process. It's not, a lickety-split thing. I've always been very interested in going to museums since I was a child and just being marveled by what you see. And that's something that art always did to me. It marveled me because it went always beyond what you see. There was an imagination to be explored within what I was seeing. Your tastes are a conglomeration of who you are. What food you like, what wine you like. Do you like to travel? How do you like to dress? How you don't like to dress? It all plays a part.
So what is an example of a painting intellectually stimulating someone? What does it mean to be intellectually stimulated by a painting?
Are you familiar with Jackson Pollock? Okay, Jackson Pollock, when you really look at it, it is kind of just a mess. Just dribbles of paint. But if you look at it a little bit more and you spend time with them, there is a direction to everything. It's not just regurgitated. He had a plan. That's on the pictorial end. Now, when you keep looking at it, they become almost psychological portraits of the person. Because he's putting a lot of himself into it. So that's an example of the intellectual, how a painting can become intellectual, I see a Jackson Pollock and I really see not so much what's inside of him, but the tensions that this person must have had.
So what has been the role of art in your process of self-discovery?
You asked the question prior as to how do you figure out what you like?
Yeah.
Well, by looking at art. That's the value of going back and back and back to a museum, because you get to revisit. And there is where that helps you figure out what you like and what you don't like.
Pedro says that art is not only a conductor of aesthetic pleasure, but a platform for intellectual dance and personal growth. He also says not to take his word for it, but instead to experience art for yourself. So come to Llewellyn Galleries and discover Pedro's artwork and what it means to experience art.